This is my newest car, a 1997 Land Rover Defender 90 that I revealed to you a few weeks ago in a video where I took it off-roading. Now, I told you people that some of these things in really nice shape can sell for up to $70,000, and boy, did that make you angry. It especially seemed to trigger the British people who have spent the last few weeks telling me what a Land Rover Defender costs in your country. Well, that's all good and fine, except for one little problem. I don't live in your country. Land Rover only imported the Defender to the US in 3 years. They only sold a few thousand of them here, and yes, they can sell for up to $70,000 or more.
Here's an example of one in similar shape to mine, lower miles, but some additional work needed, that sold on Bring a Trailer for $74,000. And if you go on AutoTrader, you'll find that the average asking price for a 1997 Defender is currently around $86,000. They're simply more expensive here.
Nonetheless, you British people keep angrily asking me, why would you pay so much for a Defender? So I thought about it a little bit, and you know what I realized? A gallon of gas here in the United States where I live, that's petrol as you call it, costs $2.28 a gallon. Whereas over in Britain, a gallon of gas costs about $6 a gallon. So why would you pay so much for gasoline? Checkmate, British people. But just to make it perfectly clear why my Defender is worth $70,000, I've decided to compare it with this. This is a 2013 Range Rover. And while a new Range Rover is closer to $100,000, used ones are around $70,000, which makes this a pretty good comparison. Now, I've borrowed this one from my friend David, who runs a dealership here in the Philadelphia suburbs called Automobili Limited, so that I can show you exactly why my $70,000 Defender is a far better vehicle than a $70,000 used Range Rover. Getting in the Range Rover's front seats? Pretty easy. Getting into the Defender's front seat? Pretty easy. Getting in the Range Rover's back seat? Also pretty easy. Getting in the Defender's back seat? Oh. Not so easy. I'm standing here next to the new Range Rover, and I have a group of Land Rover accessories that I would like to load in, namely extra coolant, extra oil, and a tow strap. So what do? Press a little button on the key fob, and the tailgate automatically opens right up, revealing an enormous amount of room for me to place all of my items easily inside the vehicle. When I'm done, simply push the button, and I walk away without bother. Now, in the Defender, when I want to stow my Land Rover accessories, I open this rather heavy tailgate because it has a tire on it, and then to get my window out, I have to unzip it. And then I pull it out, and well, it's still there, but at least I can use it. And then I can place my items. Although you'll notice that there's really only enough room for this group of Land Rover accessories and no more. Now, the Range Rover has an unbelievable amount of luxurious equipment, starting in the back seats where they are power operated, and they include lumbar support. Another cool feature in the Range Rover's rear, pop open the automatic tailgate, and you'll notice there are a few buttons over here. Now, when you push these buttons, the rear seats automatically go down. That is pretty cool. There's another set of buttons, push them, and they automatically go right back up. And there are more luxury features in the back seat. For example, the rear seats are heated and cooled with the push of a little button down here. There are individual rear screens for each rear seat passenger. There's a little bit more to them. Drop this leather-lined center console pouch and open up this little pocket, and you'll discover a remote control for the rear screens. And if you're sitting back here and you want a little more legroom, just tap this button and the front seat goes forward so that you can really spread out and enjoy your movie experience. Now, the Range Rover is loaded with all sorts of advanced high-tech safety features that let you know if there's someone around you at any given moment. For example, there's a giant camera system with cameras all over the vehicle that let you know where everything could possibly be in your vicinity. There's a blind spot monitor that lets you know if someone is in your blind spot while you're driving down the road, and there's a rear cross-traffic alert system that lets you know if someone is coming while you're backing out of a parking spot. Also, the Range Rover has automatic high beams, so you put your brights on and then it decides whether your high beams should go on or not. There is this giant screen here in the center console that controls virtually every setting in the car. My favorite part about this screen are the little buttons on the side of it. When you press them, they light up to let you know you've really done something. In fact, the infotainment system is so advanced that it even offers the ability to change the screensaver. The Defender doesn't have all those fancy buttons like the Range Rover does. Instead, I only have one button in my entire center control stack, and fittingly, it's for that hazard lights. All right, now we're going to talk about reliability. This is my friend Filippo. He films some of my videos. Now, don't you think, Filippo, that the Defender is more reliable just because there's less stuff to break?
Is it your check engine light on right now?
Yeah, the check engine light is on. Yeah,
And isn't it leaking oil?
yeah, there's a little oil leak. Yeah.
And coolant, right?
Yes, there is a coolant leak. Yes, true.
And wasn't it at the dealer to get fixed like yesterday?
Yeah, last week. Yes, is at the dealer. Yeah. The Range Rover's interior is full of some of the most beautiful trim you'll find on a modern car. The wood in the center is just gorgeous, flowing, high-end wood trim. The seats are trimmed in this supple leather, and the leather goes well beyond the seats. There's also beautiful leather all over the dashboard and the steering wheel. There's hand stitching everywhere, and all of the buttons and the switches feel like they're really high quality. Finally, there's just high-end aluminum trim everywhere. There's no ugly plastic anywhere in this car, nothing cheap. This vehicle is a true luxury car on the inside. In the Defender, I don't have any wood or any high-end materials. I do have a lot of black plastic, and in some cases, gray plastic, and in some other cases, even lighter gray plastic. Now let's talk about styling. The Range Rover is beautiful and gorgeous, and it looks like a modern luxury car. We all get that. But the Defender is so cool, right? Look at this thing. It's awesome. I mean, how many of these do you see? The answer apparently is a lot, because everybody who I've shown this car to who isn't into cars, they come up to me and they go, "Hey, man, you got a Jeep." The Range Rover is a normal automobile, so water doesn't get into its interior. The Defender, on the other hand, it rained last night. I walked out to it this morning, and now you might be wondering, why does water get inside the Defender? Well, I suspect it has something to do with this. Now in the Range Rover, you lock the doors, and then you pull on them and they don't open. Now in the Defender, you can also use the key to lock the door. Then you can't get inside. However, someone could walk up and just open your window. Now, I admit it is possible to lock the window, but let's never forget one important thing about the Defender. At the end of the day, you want to get in, you can always just unzip it. And so, after this exhaustive test, I think we can conclude that in no way is the Defender better than a $70,000 used Range Rover. Normally, this would be the part where I apologize to the British people and tell them that they were right and I was wrong. But guess what? I'm about to fill up my Defender with gas, and I'm going to pay $2.28 a gallon. Is it rolling? Really? Okay. The Defender, on the other hand, what do I say? And then, guess what? You pull on them. All right, ready?
Yeah. Shit. All right, go ahead.
Okay, ready? We can do this.